right, everybody, we are talking indie agency news preferred partners, real people giving you real solutions. Let's talk social media. Managing social content's draining your team's time and energy. You need to check out MDZN Studio. They partner with agencies to fully handle social media strategy, content creation, scheduling, and even approvals. It's on brand and totally off your plate. The process is simple, collaborative, and designed to save you hours every week. Trust us, they do save us hours every week. It's so nice. If your agency wants more consistency and less stress around client socials, MDZN Studio might just be your new favorite partner. Visit mdznstudio.com and schedule your discovery call today.
All right, hello and welcome to Meet an Indie Agency. I am Kyle O'Brien, managing editor of Indie Agency News. Hey, let's meet an indie agency. Let's go out to the West Coast and talk to Parker Channon from Duncan Channon, co-founder. Thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it.
I've been looking forward to it, Kyle. It's nice to meet you too. I'm excited to talk with you today.
So, all right, how long has Duncan Channon been around?
I almost don't even like to say because it ages me so, but we have been around since the last millennium. We opened our office there was a brand new record from Nirvana called Nevermind, and we wore that out. So that should establish our vintage.
That establishes it to me. For the younger folks out there, you're just going to have to look it up. So. All right, well, let's get right into it. What is Duncan Channon best known for?
You know, it's funny. I appreciated you letting me know that you might ask that because, we've been around for, 30 years. So, we may have been known for different things in different times. It's almost like a sports franchise. There's eras where you're like a great defensive play team or a great offensive team. I think if you took a snapshot right now, we're most known for working with brands or causes that are facing some kind of negative narrative, some strong headwinds. Mm-hmm. And we started that work with the California Department of Public Health, and now we've been sort of gotten known for it. And so now people come to us with similar problems where they're combating a negative narrative that is slowing progress or causing their consumers to not choose them or not like them so much. So it's almost about changing social norms as opposed to changing individual behavior, like with the CPG brand, where I just want someone to go buy Kona beer instead of Corona beer.
Right.
So that started about 12 years ago when we started working with the California Department of Public Health. And 12 years ago was when vapes arrived in the world. And I don't know if those who remember, but when vapes arrived, they were seen as fantastic news, incredible news. This was going to save tens of thousands of lives every year. Mm-hmm. And the state came to us and said, we've gotten the science that's starting to come in, and it's not good at all. This is just another tentacle of big tobacco. But boy, there was an army of people that we had to first combat and wage this war of a public opinion. And we've started to get really good at that, starting to move people's opinion as a group. So their social norms is like as humans, we are sort of instinctually, evolutionarily driven to seek the company of others and approval of others. So you kind of got to move a whole group in order to sort of achieve your goals. We were from the stopping vaping, which we were really successful with, and it didn't take long for the vaping guys to sort of show their hand when they started coming out with flavors that like kids would obviously like. Yeah. And the state actually gives us some credit for getting the laws changed. In San Francisco, there's no flavored vapes anymore. So it's important work too. It feels like, advertising, I don't know if advertising is exactly the Lord's work. So it's good to have these like carbon offset credits, right? We sell alcohol to grownups and candy to kids with sweet tarts, but we also are getting people to stop vaping and kids to watch out for fentanyl. And they brought us in on COVID vaccine. That was another huge, there was so much misinformation and disinformation and bad science and internet horseshit that it was really tough. And it was an amazing challenge. They came and said that, the government of California said, hey, Black and brown Americans in particular don't trust the vaccine, and we want them to trust the vaccine. Right. And the first thing we determined is that Black and brown Americans don't trust the government to start with. So it was like, we need to create this empathetic campaign. We understand their distrust. We understand the journey that they need to do to get to acceptance. and ultimately to immunity. So that work brought us PG&E. I don't know, you're a California native.
I know PG&E very well.
Well, PG&E's negative headwinds were maybe more self-inflicted.
Yes.
And we weren't even sure when we first went to talk to them how we felt. I'm a consumer or a customer, and boy, I certainly didn't love the bills. But they had a new group of people, and there were circumstances that were somewhat beyond their control, and we started to understand them and like them. And when they brought us on, we gave them a campaign that was like really transparent, where we had interviews with customers and PG&E folks that were unscripted, and we let the customers have the final word in the ads, and they were really awkward by design, lo-fi by design. We had ads that looked just like this. When the myths were coming so fast, we started to do Zoom ads that we could make for a couple grand and get them up. And it was, and now the results have come in, and their brand trust went up 17%. And it led to us now to get a new thing that's so cool. It's another cause that's being attacked by even the White House, and we're going to find out literally could be during this interview. So if I'm suddenly elated and distracted, or if I'm suddenly sullen and withdrawn, you'll know that the news came.
Well, we'll have to do a repeat if that happens. So let's hope for the earlier, the former.
Yeah. Okay.
So talk to me a little bit about, that's obviously a core strength. What are a couple other core strengths that Duncan Channon has?
One thing that we are, and everyone says they are, indies often say they are, and I don't know, they talk about 360-degree integration. And when we look at them, it's like, no, you don't have this, you don't have that. About 7 years ago, we bought an agency called A2G in LA that were pioneers in the influencer and experiential space, because it just seems so obvious to us that that's where things were going. And we didn't want to have to always add partners. We wanted that to be intrinsic to our offering. So I think, for an agency that's less than 100 people, we do an amazing range of things and do them well. It's like we didn't just hire a person. We have a real deep discipline around, we run tons of influencer programs, lots of experiential stuff. We now make socially native content. So it used to be that like you'd make an ad campaign when I was a boy, when I had brown hair, and it was, a suite of television commercials and a couple of billboards and some print ads. And then, digital came along. And so maybe you added banners and some landing pages, and maybe you're up to about 15 deliverables. But now with like social platforms, with so many different aspect ratios and sound on environments and sound off environments, and, deliverables for a campaign can be 150 to 200 unique
easily
things.
Yeah.
So we now have our own production studio. And it's not the idea is never not to work with production studios in LA and great and talented directors and editors, but we do have to make a lot of content. And so now we can do that in-house. People on the social platforms, they don't want to see a pan and scan of your television commercial. They want something that feels native to that. So I don't know anybody who quite at our size and an independent that does quite the range of things that we do. I'm sure all my facts should be checked. I should say that. There's a blanket statement. All my facts should be checked. Maybe there's somebody else, but I feel that is a real core strength, and we use it every day.
That's great. Well, let's get to the independent part of this, because obviously we are indie agency news, and we want to know, how is it important to stay independent? I mean, you've managed to do it for 3 decades. So what's the importance of staying indie, and will you continue to do so?
What's cool about being indie is you can entertain any offer you want to. There's no mothership to tell you what you can and can't do. And we've had lots of offers, and none of them, you could just see what was going to happen. You could just see what was going to happen. And we had plenty of other cautionary tales in San Francisco of great independent agencies. I mean, when we were getting started, there were so many damn good independent agencies, from Buttshine to, well, now what are they? BSS&P. I'm familiar with Buttshine. Pereira, Mechanism, Venables, 11, Heat. And a lot of them are gone. There was one a long time ago with this guy, I shouldn't say his name. Anyway, he gave me just a warning. He said, if you want to make some good money for a couple of years, sell, because that's all it's going to do. It's just going to kill your agency. There's no two ways about it. So having autonomy, being able to steer your own ship, being able to control the culture and the environment up, as much as you can at a place, is just everything to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously that's what, keeps you strong, keeps you always on the hunt too. What, is it important to your clients as well? I mean, you're getting government contracts, you're getting brands, you're getting a lot of differentiation in who comes to you. So is it important for them to have you be independent?
I don't know the answer to that for sure. I think it's important for them, that they get all senior folks that we're probably faster, that we're probably nimbler, that we can turn more quickly, that we're probably cheaper. I got to believe that. It's just, but I don't know that they expressly think, oh, I'm so glad that DC is independent. I think there are just things that come with independence, advantages that they appreciate.
Sure. So why should a brand work with Duncan Channon?
I'm going to answer something that I think probably a lot of independents could say, because it's true. And it is one of the advantages. We're a very flat, hierarchically, a very flat, Florida flat organization. So you do get the senior folks. We just don't have the deep pockets to have just a huge hierarchy of people. All our senior creatives, for example, I'll speak just about the creative department, all the creative directors are player coaches.
Right.
They're all making stuff. I'm writing copy every day still.
Love that.
I can't even imagine that the job of like a creative director who just like goes and looks at some work and evaluates and then goes, takes a long lunch and comes back and doesn't really make anything. I'm not sure that job's going to exist for too much longer. But
I can't imagine it would. And I can't believe that it still does in some way.
If someone's got that job, yeah, bless their heart.
Love your mug, by the way. That's
thank you. I wasn't trying to push it.
That is product placement right there. That is 30 years of experience putting that mug up there. So considering who you've had, what have you learned from the brands you've worked with over the years?
I think I fear that I may not have a single lesson, a moment that stands out. You learn something from every brand, and you learn something every time you go into a new category. One thing that always helps me too is the enthusiasm. Every time you get a new brand, a new client, the enthusiasm that they bring kind of reignites your enthusiasm. It's infectious. They teach us a lot of times. If I think about lessons, they would be probably earlier on. We didn't used to have media in-house. Right. We thought, it's fine to have a media partner. And, clients were like, geez, I don't know if this is as seamless as you think it is. We didn't even have account people because we thought, they're going to love talking to the creatives. And they're like, client was like, no, it actually makes me uncomfortable. Can you please get some people?
Okay.
So in a way, I guess we learned how to become a full service, functioning agency from our clients. They helped us along the path.
Right. I get that. Let's talk talent, because obviously you have some great talent in-house, including, obviously at the senior level, but you've got some great people all around. So why should talent put Duncan Channon on their list of places to work?
Yeah. I think one advantage, I come from the creative side, so I realize I may be mostly answering from that perspective, but I think it probably expands beyond department. It's a more elastic answer than that. But, when you go to a place like ours, as I said, less than 100 people, you start working on the real work right away.
Yeah.
There is no bench. You're in the lineup. You may be batting 8 or 9, but you're in the lineup. And we're going to help you because we have to help you. We all have to succeed. We all have to make this stuff. So we don't have a system or a program, an apprenticeship or anything like that. It's just, we're small. You got to get going right away. We don't have a lot of hierarchy. We don't the creative directors, we make a real solid effort not to cherry pick all the good stuff. So I think it's just you have a much more active role. When I very first started in advertising, I came out of school and I went to Foot Cone Building in San Francisco, which at the time was 500 people. And it was clear to me that it was going to be some years before I was getting to do the stuff I wanted to do. And again, this may be an answer that's true of a lot of indie agencies, but I think there's great value. It's just great to be, we have a small pool and we only have a deep end, right? You just go into the deep end and figure it out.
I love the fact that you have a Florida flat hierarchy. That phrase is going to stick with me for quite a long time.
Okay, cool.
I love that. So with this talent, I mean, how do you help people grow and stay with the company and keep them kind of occupied? Is it the fact that you're always diving into that deep end?
Yeah, I think that's it. You're working on the good stuff right away. You know, your book is growing right away. You know, we take everyone goes to not everyone goes to new business pitches, but we don't like have a pitch team. We don't, you know, you are really an important part of the machine on day one. I shouldn't call it a machine. That sounds cold and impersonal, but you know what I mean? The organization.
It's a loving feeling machine.
Yes, exactly. Covered in fur.
Of course. All right, let's have a little bit of fun here. Not that we haven't been having fun, but let's go to what we call weirdos, misfits, or underdogs, being that you're an indie agency and all of us tend to fall within this realm somewhere. Do you consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs, or perhaps a combination?
I love this question. I don't know where you guys got it. I just think it's great. And I think it actually is telling the answer. But what I would say two things. We hire for weirdos. Weirdos are the lifeblood of any agency. I mean, what's our job is to deliver a relevant message, but to deliver it in this unexpected attention-getting way. And weirdos can just tap into that stuff so much faster. So we actually hire for weirdos. If you look at Glassdoor, there's people who complain about how many interviews they did with us. But we just were looking for that weirdo inside. And weirdos never dress as weirdos. Anyone dressed as a weirdo is usually a perpetrator. So you got to dig under their norm core persona to find that weird person inside. Our executive creative director, Jessie Hankins, is a practicing witch. She is a celebrated poet, a writer of young adult novels published, and an insane gamer. And she wears a bonnet occasionally. So she's maybe an exception to the rule about weirdos.
A bonnet. Okay. I have not worked with anyone who has worn a bonnet, and I've worked with some interesting people. So
bonnet.
Yeah.
Like I remember when she said, "Well, I have a bonnet," and I had to even try to imagine what a bonnet was, and all I could think of is that girl on the margarine cover.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's good advertising right there.
But as an organization, I would say we are underdogs. You know, like a lot of indies, if you're coming up against, you know, agencies that have been around for 100 years or have several offices across the country and around the world, you're automatically in an underdog status. We also came up in a town. San Francisco has such an embarrassment of indie riches. You know, when we were starting out, there's Butt Shine. There was, I already said this, didn't I?
Yes, that's fine. You had,
So you're actually going to be an underdog with them a lot of the times. I mean, Eric and Coleman now, it's like, oh my God, they're great.
Yep.
So
we love them too.
It's fun to be an underdog, and people can sleep on you, and you can, you know, reach up and steal big accounts here and there. And I think if you ask people like, who's the big indie agency in San Francisco, I don't know that they would say our name very often. I think we still fly a little bit under the radar there. And so I think underdog is the accurate description of our agency.
And underdog can work for your advantage, as you say, because you can just
absolutely
go and grab that business. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, now's your chance. You get to shout out any CMO or marketer you want to say hi to. If it's somebody you've worked with, great. If it's somebody you want to work with, great. Or it could just be somebody you just want to shout out.
Man, there are so many. and I'm just speaking personally now, but there are so many. But I would say, CMOs that are facing some kind of headwinds, some kind of story, provided they aren't facing those headwinds because they're a terrible company.
Right.
We had a company reach out to us that was attracted by that offering, and it turns out that they help supply software to ICE. So, that was a hard no. But if you're facing that, we're really good at that. Personally, as a middle-aged man, I have fallen under the spell of the goofy game that is golf, and I never see anyone get golf right ever. They always make it about the pro or the equipment, and it's like there's this golf culture, and it can be tapped into so easily. It's so real of the everyday golfer. So call us. I would love to work on that myself personally.
Well, and if you do, I want to join you somehow. I
good.
I want to be in on that. So
yeah, what I'm talking about. There's a whole drinking culture. There's sort of a whole thing that's really real, and I don't need to see Scotty Scheffler. I need to see that.
Trust me, I know, because I'm never, ever going to play even close to what Scotty Scheffler does. So I'm going to play. I'm going to, maybe have a few drinks on the course, have a good time, shoot a few into the woods, and shoot a couple into the pond, and then I'll have a great time at the end. And that's my golf culture. And
you're the vibe guy. I'm the vibe guy too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's fantastic. Now, where can people get in touch with you? I will put this up. This is your homepage here. So, where can people find you?
Well, there's our homepage right there.
Yes. And that is DuncanChannon.com.
DuncanChannon.com. We have offices in San Francisco as our main one, and an office in LA. You should come by and visit. We have a wonderful space. We re-upped our lease during the middle of the doom spiral, because it just seems so nonsensical to us when everyone was leaving, that it's like San Francisco is too cool to ever die. Yeah. Our symbol is a phoenix rising from the ashes. So please come and visit us. We are a very social, culture first kind of place. Yes, there's plenty of ways to reach out on our site. Phone numbers,
LinkedIn too. You're all over the place. So.
Oh yeah, we've got all those things.
Excellent, and we hope to host an event with you at sometime soon. So, anyway, Parker Channon from Duncan Channon, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks everybody for listening here at Meet Indie Agency.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate what you're doing.
Take